Gasback is out to do a Count of Monte Cristo. He is out to ruin his allies who betrayed him have thrived, and he needs to visit doom upon them. And he is starting that doom by robbing a gaudy-ass casino. Just the ugliest casino ever. And that's already happened in the background. What he's doing now is he is robbing some sort of factory. He is hitting a stash of something important. So we learn it's a hovercraft, a cool cargo hovercraft. But you know who's with him? Wolfwood. Hello and welcome to Is That Some Kind of Japanimation Thing? A extended exercise in semi-autobiographical nostalgia and TV reviews, and someone just described it to me as the only podcast you need to wear sunscreen to listen to, and I don't know what that means, but I like it as a tag. We don't have actual reviews on any of the platforms at this point, I don't think, but I recommended
Get
it
on
to
that,
someone.
slackers.
Yeah, get on that. But I was talking to someone about it in a podcast discussion group, and they said, "Oh, you're my favorite mover. You are my favorite murder for old anime." And I'm like, I'll take that as a compliment. I've never actually listened to that show. I kind of think true crime is morally repugnant, but I like it. I'll take that as a compliment.
We have to come up with a whimsical nickname for our audience.
Yeah. Oh, God, no. Let's never do that. Let's never do that. Okay. Total full stop.
Weebarinos? No.
full stop. Because this is not live, I maintain that both Justin and I should refer to the audience in single person pronouns, which is to say you. This is a leftover from my radio training. It builds parasociality. It encourages engagement, and it also is really clean. It's coherent. It doesn't presume upon things. You're not going to be chat. You're not going to be the nation. You're you. I respect you for listening. I respect you and appreciate you for listening. And I would really like it if you left a review or a rating or visited our sponsor, Hobby Link Japan, home of many excellent Kota Bakuya figures, including exactly one Kota Bakuya Artifacts 1/8 scale Nick D. Wolfwood, the one from this movie. You can get him. The price is great. I double checked. The eBay rates for this guy are absurd, but they are still charging retail with a bit of a discount and great shipping options. You can have the Nick D. Wolfwood from this movie, including the swappable head with the alternate sunglasses. For a totally sensible amount for a 1/8 scale statue. Otherwise, HLJ is home to a number of excellent products from Japan: toys, figures, magazines, model kits, supplies, but not paint. They can't ship paint. That's dangerous.
You can't.
Snacks,
Wait,
adult stuff.
sorry.
They have adult stuff.
I'm looking at the Wolfwood fig. 1/8? How tall is that? That's like 2 feet tall. It's like a foot tall.
Well, like Wolfwood is 6'2".
Yeah. Oh man, gorgeous. Oh yeah, 1/6 is So slightly less than a foot. Still very big and not posable, but gorgeous.
Damn cool on your shelf is what I'm saying. Again, HLJ.com, home of many excellent toys, figures, statues, model kits from Japan that you can buy and ship to you for totally reasonable amounts. They have the warehouse program, which means that you can bundle up your pre-orders, ship them all at once. Japan has just reinstituted, this was 2 years ago now, small packet ground, so you can get a slow boat for about $8. That's really great. because it really hurt. 2021 was really hard when everything had to go by air from Japan if you were buying figs or kits. But again, HLJ.com, we have a link in the description, which is our affiliate code loaded in already, which means we'll get a little piece of that. We'll get some nickels off you buying a Wolfwood. Nickels for Nick. There we go.
There you go. Sounds like something you would put on the box on the edge of the counter at a gas station.
Yeah, I'm Scott, by the way.
And I'm Justin. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I the flow was there, so I took it. That's what happened.
If you are coming in out of the internet and this is your first episode, welcome. He's Scott. I'm Justin.
Yep.
He's younger. I'm older. There's a generational gap between us.
There is a bit. This is the bit. Is I am young but know things, and Justin is older and is less familiar with things, and we are tackling. We are confronting anime as old fans now. That's how it works. Anyway, we are now confronting Trigun, the movie, which came out in 2010. It actually debuted in America first. They showed it off at SakuraCon in 2010, the April of 2010, 20 days ahead of the Japanese premiere. And we gotta spin back, because obviously Trigun came out in 1998, Year of the Space Cowboy. It was eventually picked up by Cartoon Network / Adult Swim as part of the launch of Adult Swim, a particular bit of shenanigans with the FCC that made way more sense before cable, but Adult Swim was a network that was allowed to share channel on cable, but be counted completely different for regulation and ratings due to basically the Grand Ole Opry. It was that what happened is, if you are familiar with the science of radio broadcasting, is that AM radio.
Oh yes, intimately.
Yeah, everyone knows about how AM radio works. But what happens
now,
is
I know all about AM radio, Scott, but I think some of our audience would appreciate having this clarified. So please, no.
So what happens is that AM radio is restricted to a certain number of frequencies, and in order to broadcast on AM radio, you need to maintain a certain amount of clarity regionally. You need to not have competing signals going off between regions. So when the FCC started regulating stations, they would regulate not only who had access to which frequencies, but how much power they were allowed to have. So you could have let's pick a channel, 720 AM. You could have a low power station on the West Coast on 720 and a low power station on the East Coast at 720. The radiuses would not interact. Except, do you know what the Earth is? Do you know what the Earth actually is?
I'm going to go with round, Scott.
Well, yes, that is true. But it also is a big fucking magnet.
Okay.
Part of it being round is that it is a big fucking magnet. And when you have a big fucking magnet, it means that sometimes the magnetic field is being pushed. Well, all the time, the magnetic field is being pushed by the sun. And that means during the day, the magnetic field is very close to the ground. Which means that when you, say, have a radio station at 7:20 a.m. on the West Coast, it doesn't go that far. But at night, when you have a radio station, even a low power station at 7:20 a.m., the sun is no longer pushing on the big magnets that is the Earth, and that means you can bounce a signal much farther. This is a weird hobby for people who, at the time, it's still a weird hobby for shortwave radio people, which carry even farther than AM radio. But even in the glory days of AM radio, it was a weird hobby where people would just be like, "Oh yeah, it was 2 a.m. and I really fiddled with the dial, and I could hear CBC radio in Brazil, These are the stories you get. And this was really important for regulators because if you, say, wanted people to share a signal, what would happen is you'd have to kind of agree on power levels. Again, you can have low power stations at 720, or you can agree to have a very low power local station at, again, 720 AM is a good example. But you can also agree that, we'll stop broadcasting at 6 p.m. and we will cede that to a higher power signal later, which is how the Grand Ole Opry operated. They were right in the middle of the dial. They had a 50,000 watt channel, and no one near the middle of the dial was really competing with them at night. They all agreed to turn off. One of the other things, because of physics, is that while the Grand Ole Opry was on, they would also run the sprinklers at the station, at the broadcast tower, because AM antennas go down; they go into the ground, not up. This is why things like the CN Tower and the Tokyo Tower happen. Is that FM towers need to go up, not down? But AM towers go down. You run wires into the ground, and so the wires in the ground would be sprinkled with water to improve conductivity. So the Grand Ole Opry would run their sprinklers on Saturday night to improve their broadcast range. Similarly, there was a station in Windsor, in Canada, 840, 50,000 watts clear channel, but they were able to get wires run under Lake Ontario.
Oh, there you go. That would benefit.
Oh, yeah. They were the loudest station on the planet. Second loudest. The loudest was Wolfman Jack's station down in Tijuana, because Mexico had different rules, and he was allowed to run 70,000 watts or 80,000 watts.
I hear the soft voice of the DJ. I can't understand quite what does he say.
Hats off to the Wolfman.
which is a... Oh, Jesus. Guess Who song.
Yeah.
Clap for the Wolfman.
Yeah. Anyway, what brings us... What this comes back to is that the FCC would allow you to have one channel with two stations on it being counted differently at night, which somehow still applied to basic cable, but that meant that Cartoon Network could have different standards and advertising rates at night, which meant that they could run cartoons where people got shot in them. Which is in 2003, Trigun could be on at 10:30 and dudes could be getting shot, and it would be a big deal for fans. So we have 1998, it airs in Japan, it does fine. 2003, it airs in America, it goes huge. Because Americans, they don't have good cartoons in 2003. Let's admit it. The Superman animated series is off the air. Justice League has yet to come on. That's about it.
No Venture Brothers yet.
No Venture Brothers. Well, Adult Swim would lead to the Venture Brothers directly. So something had to fill that gap, and that would be Japanimation things. And
imported Japanimation.
Trigun becomes a vanguard success for Adult Swim, coming off the Toonami Midnight Run. But it also means that there's a huge influx of foreign money into Madhouse in a way they don't understand. They don't understand. A lot of Madhouse shows really succeed in the US, and they don't know what to do with that success. They've got Todd McFarlane throwing money to make tons of toys of Trigun. Never mind like Kids WB and Card Captors and all these other things. But they get a lot of money. Trigun's a huge success. They get toys. The Dark Horse picks up not only the manga, but they pick up something called... Dark Horse called it Cinemanga. No, Dark Horse called it Animanga. Tokyo Pop would call it Cinemanga, which was this terrible thing where they would just take screenshots of the show and lay them out on a page with word bubbles. This is perfectly the Transmorphers. This exists only because there are mall bookstores and grandmas. No one who is buying the Trigun manga wants
I got
episode
your
9 of
Japanimation
Trigun.
book.
Yeah, it's absolutely that. It is. No one who is buying manga wants, oh, here's some screenshots from a TV show with word bubbles on them. That's great. Now it's fully abusive, but it goes forward. It happens. We can talk about the bookstore or market and manga later.
They made that for Star Trek too. That was a format that was very popular. And I think John Byrne is currently making like original Star Trek stories, taking frames from shows and just adding new dialogue and descriptions onto them. I think that happened. I may have had a stroke. I'm not sure, but
oh yeah, that seems like a thing that could happen, and I would not want it. But there we go. But what this means is that Trigun is a huge international success, and no one's really ready for it. And a lot of people involved don't know what to do. I mean, one thing that happens is that obviously Gungrave, which is a video game that becomes an anime that has a lot of the cast and crew in common, kind of gets to put the from the creators of Trigun sticker on it and be successful in a way that it deserves, but would not have maybe got there otherwise. We also see, like, even now, there's a manga and anime called Blood Blockade Battlefront, which gets the from the creators of Trigun sticker on it to succeed further. But there's all huge excitement and no one knows what to do. And so they just announced the movie in 2004.
Yes.
And it takes 6 years to come out, which isn't that long. But in like fandom hype cycles at the time, it was like, oh, this thing's dead. This thing's dead to me. This thing cannot possibly succeed, especially because one of the things they announced was an MMORPG exclusive to the Xbox 360. Planet Gunsmoke, the game, was going to come out, and they showed one teaser at E3, and it never happened.
And that was going to... oh my God.
I don't even know what an MMO you would do. I don't know what you would do in an MMO.
There would be a lot of impractical bank robbing.
Well, I don't even know, because like it's like an Asian MMO, which are all grindy. Like they're all just like, I don't know, shoot animals to make crafting supplies, right?
It's Ketchup Farm, Scott.
Yeah,
you start a ketchup farm.
Yeah, it's start a ketchup farm. Look, we've already established that. Oh, one of the things that also comes out is that Guardians of the Order releases the D20 Trigun manual, so that you can play the tabletop adventures of Trigun at home in the D20 system. Because that was another thing that was bloated by the existence of malls in 2004. D20 supplements for weird things. And you know what? If I ran D20 Trigun for you, you would be set on the tomato farm and the ketchup factory. Nothing would happen except you defending your ketchup bottling facility from nonsense.
Nonsense and Bandits. That's the name of the planet. Planet Nonsense and Bandits.
Yeah. But anyway, the movie does come out eventually. I'm in a very different place compared to high school, mostly because I've finished-ish university. I'm working way too much and not going to school nearly enough. I have no money. All my friends have left and moved on. But I win. I win tickets to see this on a screen in Richmond Hill.
Oh wow!
It was a really great day. And you know what? How I think I know why I won? Because no one wanted tickets for this in Richmond Hill. I go to see this movie with 2 friends and some lady in a Vash cosplay and no one else in the building. It's a Tuesday night. But it is 2010. It is spring, and this movie comes out. And you know who's making it? You can tell. You can tell because they got everybody back. Directed by Nishimura. Screenplay is by a newcomer, Yasuko Kobayashi, but he is best known for so much JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Kamen Rider, like 15 Kamen Riders, a bunch of Shakugan no Shana. What else might you know? Dot Hack Sign, some Guyver. He did some Guyver, some Galaxy Angel, some Death Note, some Attack on Titan. He's gone on. He's grown up and done cool things.
Excellent.
Our unit directors who are leading animation teams all throughout the movie. We have Hiroshi Takeuchi, who worked on some Dragon Ball, some Escaflowne, also Guyver. Let's see what else. Oh, SD Gundam Musha Knight Command Scramble. Love that.
That's one of those giant robot ones with the toys, right?
Well, they're small robots, but they still got the toys.
Okay.
He's done a bunch of stuff. We get Kenichi Kawamura, who has worked on the second Cardcaptor movie, Black Lagoon, which is hella fun, Goblin Slayer, Hajime no Ippo, also with Nishimura. He also works on Iron Man, the anime, the Iron Man-ame. We also get some guy who works under the name Megumi. He's known for Gintama. Gintama is a comedy samurai show. AQ, Eternal Boys, also the Iron Man anime. And, of course, Nishimura leads the team on animation as well. Imahori is back on music. Naitao.
Oh, the music.
So good. So good. Naitao does consult on the story credit. We get some great mechanical design from Noriyuki Jin Guji. Animation directors Chie Nishizawa. Why is my fucking notes jumping around? Sorry. Hiroshi Takeuchi, Kazumi Inadome, Suichi Shimamura, and bunch of talent. The entire Japanese cast comes back to reprise their characters. On the dub side, it's just Johnny Bosch. But I gotta say, I think I'm double checking her name. And double check who played Millie in the dub, but she turned in good work.
Yes.
Yeah. Trina Nishimura turned in Millie. Lucy Christian is in as Meryl. We have Colleen Klinkenbeard as Amelia. Brad Hawkins as Nick D. Wolfwood. And it's a good dub cast, even if they don't get anyone back beyond Johnny. But this is the movie. The movie opens up 20 years ago. They don't communicate this really quickly. But it is 20 years before the show starts. So
they're very clear about that later in the film. Is it?
Yeah.
But there's no establishing that.
Yeah, they don't establish this right away, except through one really fun trick. The fun trick is that when they show Vash, he is wearing the same jacket as the TV show. But in the movie, he's wearing an entirely redesigned jacket. That's fun. That's a fun touch. Go.
Go ahead. You go. I will mention something when we come to it.
Yeah. So we open at a bank robbery. We open that we have the patrons, the staff of a bank. It's after dark, so I imagine this is only the staff of a bank being held hostage, and we have a crew of criminals about to break this very high-tech bank.
I did love the no bank robbers sign.
Great
English.
Sign. Yes. Yeah, all the signage is in English in this, and it looks good. And they paid an English speaker to check it this time, so it's a little more consistent. But it's fun.
And I do like how they established that Gasback has a code.
Yeah, he definitely has an ethos and an aesthetic for how he works. Again, I think when I told you about this, I'm like, yeah, this is probably where Brilliant Dynamite's Neon should have come back. Obviously, you have to change the backstory, but this guy could have been a Brilliant Dynamite. This could have been a chance to close that loop and bring Brilliant Dynamite's Neon back. And I would have been like 10,000% happier just to have that loop closed.
I would have loved to see him back. But,
yeah. But Gasback's fun, and his goons are fun.
Yeah.
And we see that what I really love about them robbing this bank is that this is a very high-tech, very complicated bank that really hates invaders.
Yes.
And we get this glorious one shot, this one take of them brutish finesse their way through. It's like, no, they know when everything is going to go off. And they just like shoot it, or they have something big to block it. This is not a Lupin heist. They
stop a press with the no bank robbers statue.
Yeah. They just have to know, like, oh no, we've got this thing coming, and shoot that, do this, throw this around. It's great. No one blinks. They know exactly what's going on. They are
the security system does remind me of the engine in Galaxy Quest.
Oh,
just like that seems incredibly.
Why did they smash? Why?
Yeah. Why do we have these choppy things here? Like, if you want to get into the vault, it seems like, if there's no convenient off switch located, getting things out of your safety deposit box will be an incredible inconvenience.
Yeah. Yeah. Who knows? And all the while, the people who are being held hostage are like, well, it's great it's not Vash. Oh, Vash would make this so bad for us. How bad would it be if Vash the Stampede were here? Please ignore the other hostage who's crying into his donuts.
And I when I went back to rewatch it, I'm like, he's there. You could see the red coat right under the table, the desk this time.
Yeah, like they show enough. Someone eventually realizes that, well, what happens is that our red-coated moron, whom we love dearly, jumps out to intervene before violence can escalate. And as this is going on, a couple of things happen. First, 3 of the guys on the bank robbing team decide to betray the largest of the bank robbers. A dangerous move, but they have agreed to betray him. And so they do. And then we also realize that, oh, wait, no, this guy who's crying about donuts is Vash. And so now we have Gasback, the leader of the bank robbers, brutally flicking this one guy in the face. Just, like the Foley on it is so good, too. Like, just bonk. Single finger flick. And we see that come back later. All the hostages panic. The cops start showing up. The other guys get away. Gasback is arrested. Vash escapes. And we are introduced to the opening credits and a dice metaphor, which I like. I like what this movie does with the dice metaphor and how it plays into the series overall.
And a reminder of how important the plants are.
Mm-hmm.
Chekhov's plant on the outside of town.
Oh yeah, part of the bad guy's escape involves strapping rockets to Thomas's, and my notes just say, "Oh, like Batman 2, Batman Returns," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's why I wrote that down." Vash takes all the blame for this somehow, even though they arrest Gasback.
And the paper in English, which is very well written, once again.
Yeah, no
accuses
filler text.
him of collaborating.
No lorem ipsum, no Adobe readmes, nothing like that. Oh, we should do a bonus episode.
I think they knew people were going to be reading these things,
especially because they premiered it at conventions in America. They probably got in a guy. But something that we should do, maybe as a bonus for YouTube, is we go through one of my favorite things, which is filler text in anime, English filler text in anime, and what they pick, and we can talk about how Sailor Mercury must obey all the laws that RoboCop does. A lot of the time, it's just like Adobe. A lot of time, it's like Adobe product readmes, but like here's just Sailor Mercury's pocket computer explaining that she needs to uphold the public trust.
Serve the public trust. Protect the innocent. Uphold the law. Yeah. Secret number 4, Sailor Mercury.
Sailor Mercury has never betrayed omni-consumer. That doesn't come up in the show. That does not come up.
and she cannot, work against the interests of any of their executives.
Oh man, Sailor Mercury versus RoboCop. There's a manga I'd write. All right. So we get the opening credits.
Yes.
We jump ahead 20 years. We are now in the time period of the show at non-specific, probably around episode 12-ish. Probably.
I was a little curious. It seemed to be a little, because everyone's there.
Everyone is there. Everyone is alive, and the tone is light. Like,
yes, so light. Oh my god.
Like, unlike the Cowboy Bebop movie where you can like literally point at one character in the background and say, "Oh, it's before episode 23 because that guy's wearing that outfit." That's we don't have that kind of signaling, but it's somewhere episode 12-ish, I'd say.
And we got to see the cat.
Yeah, well, the cat shows up.
Cat was sitting on the newstown. Went meow.
So we are in a we are in a boom town. We have a newly installed plant with a big giant bronze statue, and we have the town being flooded with so many weirdos. So many. I love this. This is the best part of the movie for me, is that like the animation team and the character design team was like, draw 400 fucking weirdos.
Those people were gorgeous and great, and they had so much money for this movie, didn't they?
Oh god, yeah, no. Like, there was this, they got money and they spent it on the things they really wanted it to. So every background character is just a guy. It's a distinct guy.
Did Todd McFarlane pay the money and say, just make sure there's lots of weird people in the background? I don't know if that's what Todd McFarlane sounds like. I haven't listened to the guy in years, but he's like, give me action figures. Give me Wave 7 worth of action figures.
I'm sure that was, if Todd didn't say so, I'm sure the assumption was like, I don't know, maybe we can get a deal with Todd if we design enough guys.
I'm just saying, toyetic can be good on occasion.
Oh, well, and I think it's not out of sync with, say, the first half of the show, where it's like every episode there's like some bunch of bandits or some bunch of bounty hunters, and they're all gimmicky. But like every single one of these guys has something going on. Weird nose, weird visors. One guy's like 12 feet tall and wearing a Viking hat. 12-foot tall Viking hat guy. I want his spin-off comic.
He's the Build-A-Figure for Wave 6.
Yeah, totally. We are also kind of jumped into what I'm going to call greatest hits mode, because we see like, okay, they reintroduce Millie and Meryl, and immediately Millie knocks out a guy because the strap on her gun fails. It's back to Ep1. Back to F1. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh no, my strap broke. And Meryl and Millie are in this town because there is an absurdly large insurance plan on a giant statue that moves. What a waste. But that's what they're in this town for.
I think the guy who had that statue built, I don't know, there's something sinister about him. Something weird.
Well, anyone who gets a statue built of himself is some manner of son of a bitch.
Yes.
But yeah, the girls are there to maintain the integrity of the statue. The town is called Kepler. We jump to a sand steamer where Vash is just trying to enjoy some jerky, some space ostrich jerky. But as it turns out, some guy with dreads and white Flava Flav are sexually harassing our girl for the movie, our new girl for the movie. Amelia is just trying to get to town, but these two guys are being pests. And what
those guys are sleazy.
Are shenanigans. Just shenanigans. She kicks them. She makes fun of them. Vash eventually intervenes by doing sort of Vash things, and eventually they all get bundled up in a tarp, and one guy fires his gun in the air. Doesn't hurt anyone, but this is apparently verboten on sand steamers. Someone could have told Brilliant Dynamite's Neon this.
I don't think Brilliant Dynamite Neon was terribly concerned about the rules. Plays by his own rules.
He does have a code.
Yeah.
Neon has a code. Everyone saw it. Everyone's like, yeah, no, those guys did break the rules. And our Junktown jerky vendor is very willing to support Amelia and Vash in getting rid of these guys. So they get thrown off the side.
I think the jerky vendor was a little disappointed they didn't both get popped right there. I mean, she was a little bloodthirsty.
Yeah, she really wanted to see them hurt. But they get tossed over the side. We jump back to Meryl and Millie. Meryl, speaking of greatest hits, is ready to offer the big box of donuts to the mayor of Kepler, a guy named Kane, who set up a big giant bronze statue of himself to celebrate the town he runs.
The security shenanigans that go off when she attempts that is also hilarious.
Oh god, the sheer amount, like they've got, I think the tech level, like if we're talking like Civ levels, is a little higher in the movie. We see more people with more Gugas throughout, but we have a bunch of guys show up with like full riot shields. They secure the donuts. They hit it with liquid nitrogen to neutralize possible explosives, which is great because then you have the scene where they're like, well, you brought the donuts. I guess we can try to serve them still. And they dip them in the tea and it's still solid. Good gag.
So much clinking.
Good gag.
No, there's a lot of fun in this. So much.
This is, I think, a lot of anime movies, when you have a TV show and you get the movie, usually it's part of a long-running show, and you just have, Naruto gets a movie every summer. Dragon Ball used to do a movie every summer in the Z era. Now in the Super era, they do a movie between story arcs, and it's just a bonus episode. It's a bonus episode that has a bigger budget, but it doesn't mean anything. But because we're basically looking at 12 years, we're getting it's the band, it's the reunion tour. It really is the reunion tour for everyone here on the staff, on the writer, for the staff and for the story, where it's just like, yeah, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna play the hits. We're gonna,
hey, what happened to that guy? Oh, there he is.
Oh, there he is. We remember Millie's got a big gun and it hits people because by accident. So we'll do that.
It's more dangerous when she isn't using it than when she is using it.
That's it.
I am going to say, a little disappointed. At no point do we see Meryl pulling out any of her 45 Derringers.
I will say that I think one of my big disappointments, I'll say it now, is that, the girls don't get a chance to shine. They don't. We get to see them do their jokes, but we don't get to see them really have a win.
Yeah.
Or
even a fun scene, like a big action scene.
Like they don't like, it's not like Brilliant Dynamite's Neon's arc where you see them outsmart the bad lads and get the jump on some people. It's just they're strictly comic relief this time and a little bit Deus Ex Machina, and that's a shame. That is a shame.
A little bit exposition.
We get their exposition that Kane, he runs Kepler. He has insured the statue for an absurd amount, but he can't insure the plant. The plant cannot be insured. Any damage to the plant is basically an act of God.
So can Giardelli even afford to insure a plant?
No, like this is it. They can put $5 billion on a statue, but they can't put a whole town's livelihood on their line card.
I wonder how much the premiums are for that statue policy.
It's got to be kind of high. Like if he's going for that kind of deductible, he's got to be paying a lot monthly, and that's why they're sending their best agents.
Yes.
To ply him with the finest box of donuts.
See, that's it. I want a Millie and Meryl show where they're up against another team of adjusters and inspectors who are just, evil.
Unscrupulous. unscrupulous.
Like the unscrupulous tornado followers in the original Twister.
Yeah.
Like,
Anyway, we get that bit of exposition about the nature of the town and the nature of the statue, and we jump to Amelia's backstory a little bit. We have little baby Amelia.
Fragment, a slice.
Little bit of baby Amelia and the mystery box. And we see that Vash is being a bit of a pest, and that she cannot tolerate being touched by strangers, like us all.
Like physically, she
there are hives involved.
Yeah,
there are hives involved, but like, I don't look 2020 to 2022, not a great time for a lot of reasons. But like 4 foot of space in line for the groceries was nice, man.
That was a good. You're there, you're over there, and I'm here, and everybody's happy.
Like no one's upset. No one's upset. We just have a little room to breathe while we stand in line for the grocery store to check out. Standing outside was kind of nonsense. Yeah. So we skip to a new location where we are reintroduced to Gasback, who is older now. We can tell because he has an eye patch. That's how you know
years
time has
have
passed.
not been
eye
kind
patches.
to Gasback. Yes. Well, like all of us, as the years go by, we end up with an eye patch, and
like we
40 years down
we either grow mustaches or have eye patches. This is how time passes.
Yes, the observable effects of time on all of us.
Yeah. Or maybe maybe we're just House of the Dragon and they recast us after 2 episodes.
Oh, God, I was so much more handsome for season 1. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I
really hated my character. Yeah. Oh my God. Take away all his hair and put on about 100 pounds. What? Really? Is that what you feel about me?
Oh, man.
Yeah. I missed the first season producer. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, you were saying. We were discussing
Gasback
the actual thing.
Out of jail or from being on the run, and he is engaged in a revenge plot. He is Count of Monte Cristoing his past allies who betrayed him. Oh man. There's an anime of Count of Monte Cristo we could talk about.
Oh, cool.
We could do that one.
That would be the first time I actually saw or read that story. It's like one of those things I know of that I've never actually injected into my brain. So
Dumas was being paid by the month, and they didn't tell him how many months. So you know what he did? He got paid. 1,000 pages.
Paper. Oh my God.
1,000 pages of serial novel. That's what happened. But anyway, Gasback is out to do a Count of Monte Cristo. He's out to ruin his allies who betrayed him have thrived, and he needs to visit doom upon them. And he's starting that doom by robbing a gaudy-ass casino. Just the ugliest casino ever. And that's already happened in the background. What he's doing now is he is robbing some sort of factory. He is hitting a stash of something important. So we learn it's a hovercraft, a cool Carvo hovercraft. But you know who's with him? Wolfwood.
Yes, that was a shock. What's Wolfwood doing with this guy?
Well, we find out that Wolfwood is helping out of the lamest reason. The lamest reason, because it is, oh, buddy, I can't flatten my $2 bill out to get water from the vending machine. So now I owe this guy my life, I guess. And not $2 in quarters. No.
You gave him change.
like I can't this guy couldn't give me $2 in quarters, but I can give him my services as a bodyguard.
I do wish Ron Howard had taken this for Solo. This is why Chewbacca owes Han Solo his life. Gave him change for a vending machine.
Yep. That's how it goes. But we see Gasback hacks up some robots with his electricity gun. That's a Chekhov model electricity gun. Even the robots seem a little more high tech than what we're used to for the TV show. But there we go. We see that action happen. We jump back to Vash and Amelia, who are now wandering around the town of Kepler trying to get dinner, and all the restaurants are full because it's full of 400 weirdos. My beloved weirdos.
And Vash, we're gonna agree. He was being a bit of a pain.
This is like too insistent. We're back to like first half of the show Vash, where he's just pushing too hard on all women at all times.
Respect other people's boundaries, Vash.
Yeah. Respect boundaries. Leave
no
women.
Means no.
No means
like
no.
Repeatedly saying no means no.
That's how it goes. But they find a bar with 2 chairs left, but they have to share with Meryl and Millie. So what ensues is everybody getting drunk and enjoying food. It's an interesting mix. It's mostly like sort of Japanese restaurant food. If you look at the table, like they even have like Old West soup things, but it's miso soup.
Oh, there you go.
Like there's some katsu and rice. There's a lot of fried rice on the table. Sorry, I always have to look at anime food, and it's like, oh yeah, 3 plates of fried rice, 2 chicken cutlets, miso soup. Totally normal cowboy things to eat.
How do they prepare their beans in Japan?
They ferment them.
Wow. See, they're that's why the Western does not work as well over there.
Yeah. Natto is very different from slow roasted with pork back. Yeah.
Yes. But Vash and Millie having a great time.
Oh, they have so much fun.
Putting them back,
eating them pork chops. It's great.
I mean, you want to do a YouTube special, anime food on the table.
Boom, oh yeah, right we can ID that. There's plenty of great food shows we can talk about. But what has happened is that we are back to greatest hits mode, which means that Vash is about to pretend to be Vash. It's a great joke, actually. It's like, like Millie doesn't want anyone. Millie is about to say that Vash is Vash. Meryl's like, there's like 400 weirdos in this town who want money. They're gonna shoot everyone if they find out this guy's Vash. And Vash announces he's Vash, and they're like, don't fuck with us. You're too goofy.
There's a funny guy.
You're a funny guy. That's a great cosplay, my man. They say cosplay. That's fun.
I saw a Vash cosplayer at Fan Expo last week.
Yeah.
I actually got, it's like, oh, it's that goofy blonde weirdo. I would have given him a hug, but they were cosplaying, so I'm like,
personal boundaries.
But I appreciate that now. I can go out into the world and see someone dressed up in a big red coat, an obnoxious blonde wig, and go, I know what you're doing.
And you know who's also in this bar? You know who's in this bar? Dreadlock Guy and Flava Flav.
Yeah.
Because they are about to start sexual violence against Amelia again. She is going to start kicking them again, including destroying a pinball machine and doing some great prop comedy with all the things in the kitchen. And then the bar fight starts.
Such a proper bar fight.
Such an excellent bar fight. But then someone pulls a gun. And then all the guns have no bullets. Because a gunfight would ruin a perfectly good bar fight.
That's excessive. That's a level too high. Did he use some sort of Vash super ability? Like, did his arms magnetize, or is it just
I think he just did a super speed. I think he just did a super speed.
These guys don't deserve to be having guns and bullets. Not if they're going to pull them out for dinner.
Yeah. The bar fight proceeds without anyone getting shot. Amelia and Vash leave very drunk. Amelia starts to talk about her backstory and her motivations. We get a dream of the flashback again. We get some more discussion of the mystery box. What could be in the mystery box? We learn
What
about
is the
Amelia's
mystery box?
mom. We see the marshal, who was established earlier as getting too drunk before the bar fight started, going up to see the plant. What's up with that?
Well, that's just, responsibility on his part. He's the marshal. He has to make sure everything in this town's safe, make sure the plant's
There are
operating straight.
400
Obviously.
goobers. There are like 400 goobers in town who are starting
Yeah.
bar fights and throwing knives around. Should be on the ball.
He's not the best marshal.
He's no good.
We learned that he's actually. But the next day, the entire town is hungover.
Yeah, everyone is hungover. Except for Vash, who has left a lovely basket of donuts and a note. Like this is like some sweet hotel roommate behavior where it's like, here's some donuts, there's Gatorade in the fridge, you're fine.
Don't move too fast or the top of your head will fly off.
Yes, that will absolutely happen. The word comes out. The word goes around to the 400 goobers that no, Gasback hit the other town. He hit the other spot with the hovercraft. And so he can't possibly be coming here. This can't be part of a pattern. No.
Yes.
We got to rush
Obviously,
out.
he's only going to attack one place.
Yeah,
like that's it.
He has attacked 2 places, so he couldn't attack a 3rd place. Now,
third? What are you, crazy? No.
Like a serial robber robbing things in series. Nah.
Relax. It's all obviously taken care of. You want to catch him, you're obviously going to have to go someplace else.
You got to go to town too. And Vash, we see, speaking of greatness, Vash hanging out with kids. We get some kids shooting him with cap guns.
Aw.
It's so adorable.
He's playing Gasback.
Yeah. Anyway, everyone's about to run to switch towns. Vash is like, nah, I think I'll stay here. Amelia is like, you would only stay here if you knew what was going on. Because Amelia somehow knows that Vash is smarter than he appears.
Yes,
somehow.
She's getting that. She's seeing how he works.
Yeah. And it is the case, because Gasback shows up with his hovercraft and his giant inflatable cowgirl. And is
that made me a little uncomfortable.
Like, obviously, it's stolen from a casino that is debauched and sleazy. We established that this is a casino run by a former bank robber, and he's a fucking sleaze. But
a little weird guy.
Just a weird guy. But there we go. But like, just this inflatable is like, this is modeled on a sex doll specifically. This is not modeled on a parade float. This is modeled on a sex doll.
Yes.
She's got those lips for a reason.
It's uncomfortable, folks.
Yeah. So these 2 heists were in fact leading to a 3rd heist, whereupon Gasback just wrecks 400 weirdos. Our 400 weirdos who we have come to love and appreciate are ready to do violence on Gasback, and Gasback just wrecks them. He shows off his cool moves.
He walks through them.
He marches uptown. He evades a flaming truck. Great action scene. Great score. They give Gasback or the action 2 themes. There's like tumbling dice, which is a little more upbeat, and there's still like a moody guitar to go with him. It's good. It's fun.
Yes.
Meryl and Millie
you cheer for Gasback, don't you? You're like, hey, check out this guy.
He's doing stuff, and he's so exciting and competent. You can't help but cheer for him. We get a bit of Meryl and Millie rushing to defend. They set up, like, they're digging trenches. It's World War I for them to save this statue. What really happens is that Gasback is here to beat the shit out of Kane. Because Kane is the guy he flicked in the face, and now he needs a face prosthetic to save him from flicking. He just flicks him some more, though.
So he didn't just flick him so badly that he needed that to hold his skull together.
No, I'm pretty sure it's holding his skull together. Like, that is a crack in his skull that is not repaired. It's fun, though. It's really good. It's like, oh, he did that 4 times, and his skull will never recover. It's good. We get We get a bit where, we do get a bit where as Gasback is marching on the mayor's office, Vash is finally getting involved and like just tagging people's guns out of the way. He stops a mortar with a stop sign. Great Bugs Bunny comedy out of that. Like literal Bugs Bunny holding
his
the
hands
vibrating.
go.
Oh, so good. So good. It's a great sequence. Two great sequences, really. Gasback reveals that he is going to destroy his former comrades' lives, which he already has because he ruined that casino and ruined that robot factory. And now he is about to take something that matters to Kane. Kane escapes on a rocket vase.
Yes.
It's a good gag. It's a good gag. They don't really like show it off. He just like pulls a ripcord on a vase, and then you see him holding a rocket vase, and I'm like, this could have been a whole thing in a Lupin movie, but this is just a 1 second bit.
Do we see Gasback going through all the various bodyguards that he had, the liquid nitrogen and shield people, or do they not really enter into it?
We see some of them like run ahead of it. Like you see some guys just like, oh, ain't getting paid enough for this. We leave. we don't see like the riot shield guys really do anything until like half the building's collapsed and we see some riot shield guys crawl out. Amelia shows up to try to threaten to shoot Gasback, and Vash is like, maybe you shouldn't do that. Like let's all live and let live here. Wolfwood cusses him out because Wolfwood is like, well, I'm done actually defending this guy. I've done $2 worth of work for him now. So I don't have to be nice to him anymore. But I'm still going to be mean to Vash for being, too upbeat because we're still in episode 12 territory.
He didn't give Wolfwood the money. He broke the $2 bill.
Yeah.
So it was like he's just owing him for the service.
Yeah, just like being there at the right time. And it turns out that what Gasback really wants to do is destroy this whole town. So he's going to destroy that whole town by having the marshal rig the plant to roll down the hill. And I will say, having this giant light bulb roll down some city streets looks and sounds great on a big screen. They knew what they were doing when they wanted this for theatrical. Doesn't look as great on my TV, but in the theater, it was fun as hell.
I would love to see this in D-Box.
Oh, yeah.
Just feel the vibrations of that thing, because when it's just walking, it's basically walking itself down the street. And, when it hits a statue, I'm like, oh my God, imagine if the statue's okay. Nope, the statue's not okay.
The statue's designed to rotate for no reason. So it just... so it's like Mousetrap now. It's just... the crazy contraption rolls on, and the light bulb rolls all the way down the hill into the back of the hovercraft, cushioned by the giant sex doll, casino sex doll.
All working in place.
It's all in place. And what happens is Fury Road, like 6 years before Fury Road.
I was wondering, did Miller see this movie?
I mean, I think they saw Road Warrior. Like, that's what happened. These guys saw Road Warrior, and, But there we go. We have all the goobers get into their cars, and they try to chase him down. And the hovercraft is just well equipped, and they're all operating in sync, so they destroy all the goobers, and Vash dies. Vash is trying to persuade Amelia to not do murder, and we see one of the guys take a shot at Vash, and he lands in quicksand, a thing that we all worry about a little too much. And
my heart breaks into 1,000 pieces.
Yeah, Nick cannot save him. All he can recover is his sunglasses, and he just sinks into the sand. And
so had he grabbed his face, or had they come off of his head?
I don't know. Like, we see him try, like, I because I watched it twice, I saw him like, no, he's trying to grab for a leg. I see him go in with the rope around his waist, and he's going for the legs. And then he comes up with the sunglasses, and I'm like, I don't know how this went down, actually. The physics wise.
That's a pure fridge moment, though.
It
In
is.
the moment of the film, it is like affecting.
Yeah, and
even though we know he has to still
we know
get into many heartbreaking adventures down the road.
Yeah, we know this has to be like episode 12-ish territory. So he has to do he has to shoot so many gung ho guns in next week. We know how this is going to go. But this is the second act pinch, the all is lost moment. It actually happens at 61 minutes into a 90-minute movie if you're really watching the timeline go by. But we have Amelia and Nick go back to town, and everyone is really struck by what it means to live without a plant. And this is good for the show. This is good for the lore of the show, because we see just what you can and cannot do without a plant anymore. And everyone's desperate. All the things are dire now. And
Chekhov's child on a respirator.
Yeah, child on a respirator. You know. So Amelia realizes that she might be as bad as Gasback for insisting on violence. There are some meditations on what Vash's lessons are now that he's dead, both for Nick and for Amelia. Meryl and Millie, not really around. They could be here. This is a spot for them.
Something somewhere.
Yeah. They are trying to do something. Amelia is like, well, I have to set this right. Hey, Nick, what's it cost to hire you? Not that much. She flips him a nickel, and he says, well, if you buy breakfast, this will be fine. Again, he did so much for Gasback for making change. Never mind $2. Just making change.
He has standards to maintain.
He does have standards. And what happens now is that Nick and Amelia wreck everyone.
Oh, so much.
It's a great scene, I think. Obviously, we get a fun moment where Nick starts wearing Vash's glasses, which is kind of a nice little mirror, little bookend to Vash carrying the cross at the end of the series. But it's a fun little reversal. It's fun. It's symbolic.
Not a heartbreak.
We see Amelia and Nick work together. Nick is doing fun stuff, taking advantage of just being able to block bullets with the cross, fire rockets into things. It's good stuff. It's good sequence. It's fun. They do a trick shot to try to steal the plant. Doesn't really work. But when
they were ahead of them.
They were ahead of them.
They had some. They were, Gasbag and his team are not dumb.
It is not their first rodeo. It is perhaps their third rodeo. This is literally their third rodeo, actually. They know they need to have their giant MacGuffin chained up so no one can steal it easily. And then we get Amelia not sure what to do next. Everything's going wrong. But who's alive? It's Vash. He's helping.
Yes. Oh my God. His music.
Oh yeah. So
his music. Music.
If you have not watched the movie yet, the score has not repeated anything. The score for the movie has not repeated any tracks from the show. They have not repeated any song from the show. It's all in tune because Imahari is very good at maintaining it down. But all of a sudden, Vash is back, and they drop the main theme in a drop D tuning. It's louder. It's messier. The guitar solo from the TV show is now a duo where you have this, the rhythm doing this butt rocky thing, but the lead is doing this surf / psychedelic riff. It's so good. So good.
So good. Oh my God. Oh.
Vash reveals that he was saved by Chekhov's jerky because they had established early on that Thomas jerky is basically inedible. And now we know it can stop bullets, small arms fire, and
have to moisten it in order.
Yeah, this is something you maybe have to let simmer in a pan, not necessarily try to eat on its own.
24 to 48 hours.
Just let it sit and stew a bit. This is like how chili. So funny story. I'll tell you a story. How about this? So chili originated in Texas. Mexican women running food stalls. They would make chili out of ground beef and fat and mostly spices from Tahiti. But this was a thing you could, if you were an office worker in Austin, you could go get a bowl of chili on macaroni. It was a sauce, not a dish unto itself. And then they sold the idea to a food processing company, and you would buy a brick of chili, a brick, and it was basically ground beef and suet and spices in a brick, like margarine, but seasoned. And that's you could eat it that way, but it would be terrible.
Is this product still produced? Can you buy
probably.
this? I want to buy it right now.
I would not be surprised if you could buy a cube of chili right now.
I want to buy a chili brick and prepare it according to the instructions and serve it on macaroni.
Yeah. Anyway, weird tangent aside. Thomas meat, something you should serve not raw. How about that?
It has a very specific preparation method.
Yeah, and
best performed on a sand steamer.
Yeah. Anyway, Vash is trying to convince everyone to back off so it can settle things with Gasback, because the dice are about to finish rolling, and everyone agrees eventually, and we get very much a recap of the Dynamite's Neon Vash duel in episode 9, because they flip a coin hits the ground, they do their thing.
They're running around in circles while they're waiting for the coin to drop.
Oh yeah, there's running around in circles. Gasback deploys all of his gimmicks. He deploys his Gatling gun arm and his mortar arm, and Vash deploys dodging and shooting people in the limbs for non-critical wounds. And it looks like it's over. It looks like everyone is going to get away. Everyone will, they'll drive the plant back to town. Everyone will be fine. But first, Gasback, unlike Brilliant Dynamite's Neon, a very non-Brill move, is like, now out of spite, I'm just going to electrocute everyone now.
Take the L, Gasback. I'm sorry, take the L.
Yeah, just take it. Like, you lost. Like, you agreed to the terms here.
You have a code, Gasback.
Why don't you have a code? You have an ethos. And before he can deploy the electrocution device, it turns out the box that Amelia had growing up is a device that neutralizes it. Because Amelia's mom was Gasback's wife, and he set up that a weapon that could only defeat him for his wife. Look, this is probably a callback to that myth of like the unbreakable shield and the unbeatable spear or whatever, but it's weird. It's weird. We got to roll with it.
They're complementary equipment. It's something that they would work well together, or they could possibly neutralize one another.
Yeah. So anyway, Amelia and Gasback explain each other's backstories. They explain each other's beef. And she comes to realize that, yeah, you were a terrible dad. And he realizes that, yeah, I was a terrible dad. And they kind of hug it out. They hug it out. Yeah. Tender moments. Full backstory for Amelia revealed. And then, just as we think things are ready to be done, who should show up but Kane with a giant rocket with his face on the front?
Of course he does.
And what does he do? I don't know how he got there. He seems very tired. So in my head, he dragged that rocket on foot the entire way. There was no truck. He just walked with that rocket.
That makes sense, actually. Because that's how Kane...
Yeah, it just makes perfect sense. Especially because Kane... we last saw him, again, escaping on a vase. He was holding on to a vase with a rocket in it. Fantastic. God, this
maybe movie... has like a Spielbergian escape plan set up. He rides the vase out to his land torpedo carrying wagon.
Yeah.
Which he then used to track down Gasback. I'm just seeing this and it makes sense in a certain way more than it doesn't. So,
Yeah, like
but
it
he's
only makes
there.
sense because we haven't seen him. Like it makes more sense because there's no connective tissue. But anyway, Wolfwood is like, no, that's dumb. Why do you have a rocket? I'm shooting your rocket. He probably dies in the explosion of the rocket, and everyone goes home, and we get everyone having their happy endings. Their happy
Oh,
endings over the credits, and we have Vash and
yes.
Wolfwood recapitulating the themes, the theme of tumbling dice, and saying like, "Oh, you do this all the like." Wolfwood doesn't know that Vash is very old. Actually, Wolfwood does know that Vash is very old. The audience is not expected to know that Vash is very old, but we, the guys who watch the whole show, can be like, "Yeah, Vash is 130 at this point, and if he's going to save everyone every time he saves someone, that's a gamble." And
They
the
have
theme is that yeah, no, everything is a dice roll. Everything is a
You give
dice
someone
roll.
their life back. What they do with it is their own responsibility.
Yeah. And Amelia states part of it. It's like, yeah, no, if they die, we don't get another roll. But more rolls maybe means the dice turn up right. And we
Now
get
I
a
see
theme.
Wolfwood and Vash then do some math, and it's like he wouldn't have been born if you hadn't saved his life. It's like, well,
Yeah, again, it's all about dice for me, isn't it? This is the theme of the movie. This ties into the broader theme of the show really well. Like it fits in. That's where I think I don't think this movie is as good as the Cowboy Bebop movie, but I do think for what it does for fitting into the themes and the story, it's like, nope, just as good. You found a spot to slot some things in, and it really works. And again, we also see that the girls are like, haha, we can't be in trouble with our boss because this guy filed his insurance policy under a fake name. We don't have to pay that part out. We'll be good. We'll
he
be
was a
good. It'll be
crook,
great.
Vash.
He was a
We don't
crook.
gotta pay a dime.
We don't got to pay a dime on that ugly statue we didn't like to start. Now, if you'll excuse us, we have to take our giant riding chickens back to town.
I do recall that the plant actually went right through a Bernardelli sign when it
Yeah,
was going
yeah.
down the street.
Specifically, Bernardelli insurance being ruined by the sign, and then we get a little hint of the theme, the dice tumble ever on, because Vash sees a newspaper article and it's like, oh, these other criminals have escaped from prison. Did you do something about that, Vash? Can't tell you. Going to stop them. Talk later. And we get
Oh,
the end of the movie.
those two, I swear.
This is fun. This was
It was so fun.
fun.
Oh my god.
And I think like I went a little back and forth on this because like obviously with like the 5-year gap from watching the show to getting to see it in a theater, it was good just to have the gang back together. That was
Yes.
my excitement. But now like watching them all close up like this, it's like I don't know. Do I really need this? Does this add anything? And it's like no, it's fun. It's fun. It's more episodes. It's my buddies. It's my Blorbos doing their Blorbo thing, and it's fun.
Yes.
Um,
It was so much fun. I loved it.
I
Oh.
think, like, if again, most people are
Mm.
watching this on Crunchyroll. Both are on Crunchyroll. Like, you can just go from the show to the movie with one click, and that's fun. That's good. I mean,
I
if you
think
were,
the movie is actually the last show of the season, isn't it? It's the
yeah.
last
So,
episode of the show.
Crunchyroll is organized a bit weird. I will say they've mostly fixed it. Like this is way better than it used to be. But if you watch Trigun on Crunchyroll, that's season 1, and then you flip to season 2, and you have 2 episodes.
Yes. Oh, that's
The
it.
same
The
movie in
dubbed and the
the
sub.
dub or the sub. You can't flip between them freely. Crunchyroll used to be way worse. It was every
Oh my god.
alternate language track was a different season. So like if you and you have to remember like they dub their shows in like 5, 7 languages sometimes. So like you'll be on like, oh yeah, here's Laid Back Camp season 3 in English. It's season 19 on the sorter because there's 15 languages and a bunch of specials that all count as seasons each. It's weird. It's
Whew,
weird. I will say I do have the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray
there
has
you
a
go.
lot of extras on it. Mostly they were filmed at SakuraCon at the premiere, which is fun.
Oh,
You get interviews with all the interviews with the director and everyone is just like panels or promos recorded at SakuraCon in 2010, and that's fun.
I like to think that every second I were on stage at there was like when Robert Downey Jr. showed up at San Diego this year. Just like, crowd pops. Because, my lord, this was good. How did it do? Like,
okay, so what I should say is that this movie, when it went to theaters, it did so under like the same sort of release model that like the Jesus movies do, where they're not general distribution. What happens is that the company promoting it, I don't think it's Fathom Events, but it's another event company. The Jesus movies or the opera stuff. If you go see the opera at the movies, they buy the screen for the day, and then whatever they make on tickets is what they make. They don't have to do the traditional distribution model. But this movie opened on 10 screens on April 24th in America, and it was number 14 in the box office.
Not bad for 10 screens.
In April? Nah, not too bad.
April.
In April on a Tuesday. but not bad for 10 screens. And obviously we have like alternate scenarios where like more recently like the Spy Family and the last 2 Dragon Ball movies have been setting records for anime overall. Just burning things down. But theaters are different.
So an audience exists, and I am still, there's so many production and distribution models right now that it feels like everything they do is going to anger someone. But I really don't like that they're not putting more things theatrical.
I think
like Glass Onion, I would have been happy to see in the theater another time or two.
Oh yeah, Glass Onion is something that they should have just done a week. Glass Onion, like obviously Netflix needs people to be buying their service. They also need to be in 3 theaters for a week to qualify for awards. But yes. I also think they need to admit that some of their movies are good and they should just do a wide, even if it is for a week. Like a Thursday to a Tuesday.
I think they did do that with this one, with Glass Onion. But
Glass Onion's
actual theatrical releases. I would like to see this in a theater. I would like to sit in a comfy seat, the bag of overpriced popcorn, and a Coke Freestyle Mr. Pibb Diet Strawberry, and just watch these folks have their shenanigans on screen, on a big screen, watch the plant roll through town. I want all this.
Yeah,
I want these things.
No, this is like, I think this one really was like, okay, we're going to be on a movie theater. They took advantage of that. Obviously, the plant rolling down the hill works great in 7-channel surround sound. Also, some of it is they get to use darker colors. Like this movie's pretty dark on my computer monitor, but on a movie screen, that's still really legible.
Yeah.
There are a lot of scenes at night that are just sort of like, I watched it on my TV downstairs, and then I watched it up here the second time, and it's like downstairs it was fine, but I remember
what the hell were Meryl and Millie doing in the desert? That's invisible.
Yeah,
it was like
that was invisible.
It was like
butts with your contrast to watch this on a computer.
Felt like I messed up the gamma correction when I was setting up the game. That's what it felt like.
Yeah. Oh, the gamma. Okay. Game gamma screens are always lying to you. They are always lying to you. I'm going to say it.
Those lying bastards.
Those lying bastards. But this is effectively the end of one era of Trigun. And it's a fun way to go out. because it's just all the greatest hits. They just play the hits. They show us some stuff. It's good to watch. It's exciting.
All killer, no filler.
All killer, no filler. And next time, we are going to go to a new era of Trigun with Trigun Stampede in CG from a couple years ago.
Oh no.
We're gonna like if you think me explaining FCC rules is fun, we're gonna talk about the history of CG and anime. We're gonna.
Fine.
I assure you, it's better than you think. We're also going to talk about why everyone's mad at Trigun Stampede.
Oh, well, I may have to like it then, because nerds, chill out. All right?
Nerds need to chill out. But next time, we are going to be talking about Trigun Stampede and what has changed in us, in fans, in animation, in 20 years. That's what it's going to go down to. I want to remind everyone to do the podcast things with your ratings and your reviews. I want you to
like and subscribe.
Yeah, the likes and subscribes. If you are a Ko-fi person, if you buy things on Ko-fi, we have a Ko-fi account. And here's how this works. If you give me $5, $5 Canadian dollars, you just get everything early. That's it. Everything. I will make sure everything is available early, and you will get it. Or you could just give me $5 because you want to. Otherwise, you can go to hlj.com. The link is in the description, and you will be able to buy many fine figures and kits, and that is cool. That's cool too. That gets us some money down the road as well.
Many fine products of Japan.
Yes. Including, again, a 1/8 scale Wolfwood statue. They have one left. They have one left.
Checking. Still there, I think.
Oh. It's been there a while. It's been there a while. I'm worried about him. He needs a good home.
They also have a 1/7 Beetlejuice Bishouju statue. Because the sequel's coming out.
With Jenny Ortega, right?
Yep. Because she is the next generation of the goth girl.
Very much so. But until next time, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.